All right, welcome back, everybody, for a new episode of Hidden Gems. This is the video series where I talk about those books that are still probably tucked away in those back issue bins at your shops. These aren't wall books. These aren't the popular books. These aren't on Hot 10 lists. These are just kind of forgotten about, undervalued, underappreciated, and sometimes underpriced type books that you can go and dig out and, nice little buried treasures, hence the Hidden Gems moniker. Now, I've been mixing in some specials here and there. I know I've been doing them a lot more lately, but just because, I don't know, I get taken on by an idea and I can't have a hard time letting it go. So I'm going to try to mix these in maybe once a month and switch them up here and there amongst the regular format of the show. But I decided to come back to another fun subject that I know you guys are enjoying, and that is The Last to Know. So it's Hidden Gems presents The Last to Know. So these are going to be those last issues, those final issues of runs that as print runs went down, they are, they're worth a few bucks. So these are a few you might want to keep in mind when you're out there digging in those boxes, whether they be dollar boxes, cheap boxes, regular back issue bins, just stuff that I'm trying to throw out there for informational purposes. So the more you know, the better off you are when you are out there hunting. So with that all said, hopefully you're still enjoying this as well as everything else on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. We are well on our way to 3K. And with that all said, hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back with this week's Hidden Gems. All right, so as I mentioned there in the open, we are doing another version of Last to Know, these final issues that you should be aware of when you're out there digging in those boxes. And we're going to start off with a good old favorite of mine. How about some Conan, right? Let's look at some Conan. So Conan, The End. This is the final issue of a long legacy type run, 275 issues. So issue 275 is the final issue of Conan. Black cover, going to be tough to find in high grade. I believe there's a newsstand version as well that people like to collect, those newsstand versions. So keep an eye out for that too. But Conan, let's take a look. What does Conan 275 move for? Well, these days, not too bad. I mean, yes, you can find the sneaky copy for like 10 bucks there. Granted, that says very good to find, so that's going to be a little banged up for 10 bucks. But then other copies you can see, best offers accepted, $35, $50, $55. So not too bad if you can find yourself that last Conan. Asking prices anywhere again from 20 bucks, 30 bucks up to $50, and condition sensitive, really. Higher grade, the higher the price. That's just the way it's going to work for most comic books, let alone older book like this, black cover, where damage is going to be present. Now, where do we go from Conan? We're going to go into RoboCop. We mentioned RoboCop on Dollar Bin Digging last week because we're getting a new RoboCop series or some kind. So I was looking at the RoboCop Marvel run, and as weird as that run was, where he's fighting some supervillains and things like that, it did end, unfortunately, on the oddly numbered issue 23. That's another reason why I want to do this. Some of these, they don't end on milestone editions. Yes, 275 is sort of a milestone number, but 23, they couldn't even make 2 dozen. Couldn't even make it 2 years. But this is the final issue. You can see right there down below, across the bottom, final issue of RoboCop, the future of law enforcement, the third part of the Beyond the Law event story arc, I guess. And what does RoboCop go for? Well, not all that much. This isn't going to be one that's going to make you rich, but still a fun little one to know, especially when you're digging in those dollar boxes. You can see I couldn't even find individual sales of this one out there. I could only find it in runs and lots. And the 23 issues seems to move for about 60 bucks. You can see a couple of sales there. And then a partial run. Actually, it's got RoboCop #1, issue 20. It's like 4 issues. And it's other series as well. But 20 bucks for like a couple of issues. But the whole run, if you get all 23, that's a pretty tall order to go and try to build out in a dollar box, but you might be able to do it. Still 23 to make 61. If you got the time, it's not terrible. It's definitely not terrible to triple your money, but there you go. Something to keep an eye on. Asking prices, if you're just looking for the final issue of RoboCop, it's like $5 to $10. But there are that random $30 asks out there, and you can see even a 9.8 could net 150 bucks. $145. Granted, in my comic shop, it's asking, but who knows? Who knows where it's going to end up? So inconsistent pricing on this one. It's just one to know. As I said, that's the whole point of this, just informational purposes. I'm not trying to create FOMO. I'm not trying to say these are all worth a ton of money or should be worth a ton of money. Just pointing out what the market is and just letting you know what those last issues are if you want to collect, final issues, because I think it's kind of a fun little thing to do. This one, I think, this was a viewer suggestion. B. Kruger, I think, suggested this one. But X23, issue 21. So her first ongoing series for X23 ended after only 21 issues. And this is that final one. Pretty cool cover. Her hunting in the woods. You got the wolf and the wolf pack there. I kind of like it. Kind of like it. This one, well, it doesn't sell for a ton, but it's not too bad. It's like 20 bucks. $12, $13. So for what is this? $2.99 cover. It's not a terrible find if you can go and dig this out for just a couple of bucks or out of a dollar bin or something like that. It's worth the effort and it's worth knowing. Looking at what the asking prices are for this one, yes, copies could be as cheap as $7, but that's listed as fine, which a lot of modern books people don't want to buy those banged up versions. So yeah, take that for what it is. So for $7, you're not going to get a near mint copy, but you can get a copy. Near mint, very fine and near mint, is going to run you more like $20, as that one up top there shows. And then look, a 9.6 is up for $71, just for reference, in case you find a good one that you feel is worth grading. There you go. 9.6 could get you $70, or maybe, who knows? That's asking. We don't know if it's actually going to sell for that. We'll see what happens. All right, let's shift on over for a couple of DC books for a little bit. You guys know I'm picking about a dozen of these at a time. I got like the next 3 of these last to knows planned out because like I said, I love this topic. I got a whole bunch like on my to-do list, and I've already chunked out a few of them as planned. But like I said, I'm not going to do this every week. This is going to be maybe once a month. We'll do a last to know. So maybe you got to wait until next month. That said, DC side, Doom Patrol. So this is the Vertigo run of Doom Patrol. Ran through the 90s, ended with issue, again, see, the end. The end satisfies the means. Final issue of Doom Patrol. This is issue, is that 87? I'm having a hard time reading it there. I think it's 87. But Doom Patrol 87, this is like 20 to 25 bucks. Once over $35. So 25 to 35, not too bad for the final issue of Doom Patrol if you can go and find it. Asking prices, 35, 30, 20, 30. So it's in that same kind of range. The asking prices as far as the sales go. This ended in 1995. Yeah. So keep this one in mind. Old school Vertigo. When all those titles ended, these are some books worth knowing as well. Plus the series is ending. So I know this is going to be on some people's minds with no more television show Doom Patrol, at least for now. Unless James Gunn decides to reboot it and restart with something new. Again, staying with DC, we're going to look at Jonah Hex. Yeah, old school Jonah Hex's title. Final issue, issue 92. Will it also be Jonah's last gunfight? Well, no, because we see him again later. But that said, this final issue of this run can be as cheap as $10, $20, up to $30. These are all, well, not all at auction. A couple of these at auction. The $10 and the $30 were both at auction. But again, condition is going to really weigh in on how much you're going to be able to get for this book if you can find it. Asking prices for this final issue, cheap as $10, 15, 20, $17. Most of these seem to be, well, no, that one, $20 says final issue, says near mint, high grade. So if you take their word for it, look at the pictures as best you can, but just know you are kind of gambling when you buy these things a little bit on eBay because you never know. So try to buy from the sellers you trust, sellers names you know, who have quality stuff, who know how to grade. But a lot of times, I mean, especially with the listings, I love how everybody puts in the thing, I'm not a professional grader. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. There's not many people are professional graders. Only people working for CGC and CBCS, etc., are professional graders. But that doesn't mean you can't take the time to learn how to grade a book properly if you decide to put a grade. Otherwise, just don't put a grade. Just don't do it. Let people decide on their own. That said, PSA aside, let's look at our next book. Specter. This is a sneaky one. So, issue 62 of Specter. Again, you see in the top corner, final issue. Pretty cool image. You got Specter there, snowy background. Gives you that also sense of the end. I like when the final issues have that kind of a closure kind of vibe. It almost feels like death. But Specter, final issue. About $30. Best offer, $20, 25, $20. Yeah, it's not too bad for a book you can probably go dig out of a dollar bin. Issue 62. Keep an eye out for it. Asking prices. Looks 24 is the cheapest, 30 bucks, $35, but that's with looks like that glow in the dark issue as well, the first and final issue. So 35 bucks will get you one in 62. And then look, one even has listed up there for $85. I mean, that might be yeah, fishing price, but hey, nothing wrong with going fishing. And you field offers and you take, take what you want to accept. But by and large, it's still at least a $30 book, it looks like, as far as the asking prices go. And even some of the sales back that up too. So keep Specter 62 in your minds when you're out there digging, in case you run into some Specters. Where are we at now? Oh, we're going to shift back over to the Marvel side of things. With Guardians of the Galaxy coming out later this week, let's look at the final issue of that. I don't want to say the first, well, I guess it was the first run, right? I mean, they didn't really have their own title before the 90s. They kind of like appeared in things. Anyway, issue 62, Guardians of the Galaxy, final issue of that run that started with Jim Valentino, etc. Issue 62. What does this thing do? Granted, the art's not really great. You can even look at the cover of this. This is not the best time. This is not the best time for art, as far as at least on this title goes. But it could still get you 10 to 15 bucks. It looks like 10 to 15 for that final issue of Guardians. Asking prices 15, 20, 10, 25. So once again, keep an eye out for those newsstands. People will pay a little bit of a premium for a newsstand. Final issue. If put that in your listing, that'll get you a little more attention. But again, grade and condition sensitive on these. So better the grade, better the price. But there you go. Guardian 62 is another one to keep an eye out for. And even though he's not really part of the Guardian series, he keeps popping up here and there. So I attributed him. That's why I did the What the Duck variants this past week on my shorts. Next week we're doing some Guardians specials. So watch all the Guardians variants on my shorts. They'll be dropping every day too. But Howard the Duck. So this is the final issue of this ongoing Howard the Duck that ran to 33 issues with many volumes since then. I mean, it's restarted a few times since then, but this was the final issue of this, this original Marvel run here. Issue 33. It does okay. It does okay. You can see here, while a copy can go as cheap as $7.50 at auction, other copies sold for 55 bucks or best offer on $75. Pretty wide range there. Asking prices is 50 bucks was what I was accepted. So it's cheap as $7, but then a couple of copies sold for 50 bucks plus. And then the asking prices, 30 bucks, 50, $70 for a 9.2. Again, it's condition. The higher the grade, the higher the price. So keep that in mind. We're going to stick with kind of this weird angle here now that we've wandered our way from space and the Guardians to Howard the Duck. So now we're going to go over to Gru. I did happen to find this final issue in a dollar bin before and flipped it and was happy that I did. I kind of wish I kept it because it's gone up and down over the years since then. But Sergio's Gru, the Wanderer, issue 120 is that final issue, Marvel Epic. What does this thing do? Well, these days, final issue of Gru is still $50 to $80. Those are sales. Those are some recent sales. We had a couple in March and April. So, within the last month or two, those are pretty recent sales. 50 to 80 bucks ain't too bad for a final issue of Gru. Asking prices, 40 bucks, 60 bucks, a 9.8, $270. So keep an eye on it. I know you sometimes are flipping through a box and you're going, what the heck is this? And you're like, oh, there's a run of Gru here. Does it matter? Well, keep an eye on those last few issues, but most particular, the final issue, issue 120, because as you can see, it's worth a few bucks. Now, this next one is one that actually my dad handed to me. My dad picks up books for me every now and again, and he also grabs books from those packs like at Ollie's and whatnot, and he hands them to me like, here, I don't know if any of these are worth anything, but he sometimes looks them up, and this next one, James Bond Jr., the final issue of James Bond Jr., issue 12. He hands me my books this week, and he's like, oh, I got a pack from Ollie's, and there's like $100 book in there. I'm like, what are you talking about, Dad? And he's like, just look, there's one book in there. It's like $100. And I'm like, Dad, just because you see it on eBay listed for $100 doesn't mean it's a $100 book, but I'll take a look at it. So I did. This was the book he was talking about. James Bond Jr., issue 12, final issue from Marvel. What does this sell for? Well, the sales aren't $100. The sales are 10 to 15, and they're kind of mixed in some lots. There's also newsstand version, which this actually is. The one that he handed me that was in the Ollie's pack is actually a newsstand version. So probably would trade it a bit of a premium. But the asking prices, as I mentioned, yeah, he's right. It was listed for $100. But then the only other ways to get this final issue were in full runs of all 12 issues, and they want $175. So, yeah, this could be a pretty expensive book, potentially. Who knows? But yeah, so thanks to my dad for shopping at Ollie's and getting one of those packs and grabbing some of this weird stuff that comes out of them. But like I said, this is one that he handed me this week, so I decided to put it in here because it is the last issue of this James Bond Jr. run, so it fit my topic for the week. And since we're going to be on this kid side of things, let's go on and look at the Disney Adventures. Disney Afternoon, I'm sorry. The Disney Afternoon, issue 10, Darkwing Duck, the Masked Mallard Nose. Pretty cool cover. I like Darkwing. Granted, they're making way too many covers on the current run. Thank you, Dynamite, for beating a dead horse with multiple covers on top of covers. If they just would have limited these things and just picked one, don't give 3 versions of every cover too, some of these would probably be more collectible. But, you know, Dynamite's got to go and ruin it and making too many. That said, what's this Disney Afternoon number 10 go for? Well, it's in a lot, the whole 10-issue run, $53 once, you know, that set sold for with 5 bids. So, not terrible. But the asking prices are what more drew my eye to this one. Asking prices just for this single issue. There are a few listed, as you can see, $60, $70, $60, $100. So while, yes, a lot sold for $50 plus, the asking prices on this Disney Afternoon number 10 far exceed that one. So it's just one to know. Just one to know. So you go out there digging, you find one of those kid boxes at a shop. You wander to a shop, maybe a shop you've never been to before, a new shop. That's the best to always go look in the weird spots and the weird places. You go, you look in the kids' books, and they have all the you know, the Chippendales type stuff, the old Walt Disney books, or maybe Barbie comics, Animaniacs, etc. Maybe you stumble across some Disney Afternoons, and you can find that final issue. But who knows? And I think I got one more for you, one more final issue to kind of wrap up this kind of kids topic. But we're going to go back to DC for this one. And I'm a big fan of the cartoon, Teen Titans Go. It's enjoyable. It's fun to watch, even as an adult. I saw the movie when it came out a couple of years ago with my son. But the comic book, Teen Titans Go, issue 55. This is also another one to know. Yes, there was that Pink X or Red X or whatever, that book that got hot as part of this run, which was a few issues earlier than this. But the final issue is one that does all right for itself. So keep an eye out for the Teen Titans Go 55, because while, yes, somebody got one for $15 in a lot, because again, sometimes you could find these things where people don't know what they got. They put them in lots. Other lots that had runs of Teen Titans Go sold for $120 to $300. Yes, that's what sold. No individual copies, apart from some, like I said, somebody snuck that one. It was a Teen Titans comic lot where they just had some other issues. That's the kind of stuff, that's where you can find some treasures when you're searching online, is when you go through lots. Like, it might just be listed as Teen Titans Go lot. They don't tell you issue numbers. You got to go through the pictures and see what's in there. And sometimes you can't even see the full cover, and you just got to pick it out and know what you're looking at and know what's in there. Sometimes you find some of the best stuff that way. That's how I got my first Bullseye. I just bought a huge lot of Daredevil books online, and they were all high grade. I had a Frank Miller run, and I got my first Bullseye was at 130. That's how I got my copy, and I actually ended up selling that copy because I wanted to buy a Hulk 181. That's a story for another time. But I did get another copy back later. What are the asking prices on Teen Titans Go number 55? You might be asking yourself. Well, $42, $60, $120, $175. $230 for 9.8. So prices can be a little inconsistent, but we can all agree prices are pretty high for a Teen Titans Go number 55. So it's worth knowing this one to know when you're out there digging on those boxes, because you could get yourself a few bucks if you can find one. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully you're still enjoying this series as well as this little side jaunt in the last to know. I appreciate all the support here. Thanks for stopping by and checking this out. Like I said, I still have, I'll probably do another interlocking cover lover example somewhere in here over the next couple of weeks, but I'm going to try to do the regular categories as well, and just do these specials like once a month or so. So hopefully you're enjoying that. Hopefully you're on board for that. Let me know if you want to see it more often or you want to see more of them, and I'll try to sneak it up a little bit faster in the agenda. But new content every day, including all the shorts. thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you, and I will see you guys soon with some more content. All right, later.